Good morning, people. It is good to see you. Today, we're talking the Nancy Guthrie case. Bear, bear, hold on. We got some technical difficulties going on. All right. Also, we're going to be talking the Summer Wells case this morning. So I'm glad you guys could be here with us. Now, Don Wells, of course, has came out, gave a new interview, and once again, inconsistencies in the story of Little Summer Wells. But first, I'm going to need you guys to like the video. If you're brand new, sub up the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and of course, feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform. You're watching DOLLY Vision, baby.
Bomb Dolly! I'm Dolly Belly. I'm Dolly, baby. Hey, hey, hey. I'm Dolly, baby. Yeah, the king of this game. Best to ever do it. Put respect on my name. Everybody got a channel. Everybody got a mic, but they ain't got the juice. They built like I'm built. I go live, whole internet shakes. Other creators watching every move that I make. They can copy my style, they can copy my flow, but they'll never beat Dolly, and they already know. I'm a living legend, they should hang me in a Hall of Fame. Greatest true crime voice that they ever heard it all. Best there ever was, best there is today, best there ever will be. What else can I say? Subscribe! Throw your hands in the sky when Dolly goes live. Everybody stops by. Subscribe! Throw your hands in the air. Ain't nobody doing what I'm doing over here. These dudes talk tough, but they're boring as hell. Reading off a script while I'm creating the tale. I'm boots on the ground, they're boots on the couch. I'm out chasing leads while they're running their mouth. I'm the headline, got the fine print. I'm the home run, they're a weak hit. I'm the main event, the opening acts. When the history books drop, they're getting cut from the facts. I got people tuned in from the second I appear, cause they know something wild's about to happen in here. I don't chase attention, attention chases me. That's the difference between a legend and a wannabe. I'm a problem, I'm a beast, I'm a one-man show. Got the whole damn true crime world moving too slow. Every time I hit live, I raise the bar again. Everybody else competing for second place, my friend. King of the late night, king of the live stream. King of making something out of nothing but a dream. I built this from the dirt, now I'm sitting on the throne. And the funny part is I did it on my own. Throw your hands in the sky if you're rocking with Dolly. Let me hear that battle cry. Subscribe. Let the whole world know the king just walked in and he's stealing the show. They say arrogance is ugly, maybe that's true, but when you're this damn good, what you supposed to do? I'm the greatest to ever do it, everybody can see. And if there was another Dolly, he's the one to be me. DOLLY. Remember the name, live legend forever. Yeah, I'm changing the game. Best there ever was, best there is, best to be. And everybody else is just chasing me.
Wake up, wake up. It's time to get this true crime party started. It's good to see so many of you jumping in the chat room. Like I said before earlier, we're going to be talking Nancy Guthrie, buried in nature. What the hell does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? Who buried her in nature? Who's responsible for the disappearance of Miss Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, missing from the Catalina foothills? Just in case you live in a cave, and the little girl that got Dolly started in the true crime world, Little Summer Wells. Okay, now listen, you know, we always circle around. We never forget these kids, even though it's been 5 years, 5 damn years of chasing leads in the Summer Wells case, and a lot of inconsistencies in the parent story. Now, a lot of people say, Dolly, you just come up here and you blame the family members. Absolutely not.
Dolly in the house emoji, starting the Dolly train, still locomotive emoji, time is a couple weeks till Bahamas emoji.
Couple weeks till the Bahamas. No, we actually leave for the Bahamas, and what's the day? The 16th. We will be leaving in 4 days for the Bahamas, and tonight we will be having, and Boy Mom, thank you so much for the donation to the channel. You driving the Dolly train tonight, not just starting the train, but driving it. Okay, you sitting VIP up on the Blessed Express. You know what they say, you ain't blessed unless you on the Express. Now, Boy Mom done paid her tidings. You know, you got to give it to me or Jesus. I prefer me. Okay, I prefer me. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But thank you, Boy Mom. It is awesome to see you this morning. Thank you for the wonderful donation. And yeah, I'm ready to hit the Bahamas. Some sun and some sand in my toes. It's going to be great. It is going to be great. Now we're 4 days from leaving. Turtle. I want to make a quick announcement. Don't have nothing to do with true crime. Turtle Island will be tonight. I cannot do it tomorrow night because I will be in the hospital. Okay, don't worry. I'm just doing some they're doing some sleep studies and stuff on me tomorrow, and I have to stay at the hospital. So I will be. I'm not like I'm dying or anything, right? I'm good. Don't worry yourselves to death. But I cannot do Turtle Island tomorrow because they're going to have me stay at the hospital overnight. I have to sleep there. That's going to suck. But so tonight we're moving Turtle Island till tonight. I should have said something sooner, but it is what it is. Okay. Nancy Guthrie. Has anybody given up hope yet in the Nancy Guthrie case? I know it's so disheartening that it's been 6 months and there's no answers. But I want to encourage you guys that 6 months is not very long in a missing person case, right? Look at Little Summer Wells. We've been talking about Little Summer Wells for 5 years. Now, that's a little long. You know, after 3 years, they consider it pretty much a cold case, or soon as the leads drop. And I don't believe there's any legitimate leads in the Nancy Guthrie case, which is absolutely horrible, you know. And there's only a couple real people actually searching for Nancy Guthrie, and that's just a couple YouTubers like Exploring with Jim and AJ W. They're out there searching. Now the rest of the YouTubers, they just kind of clowning around out there. But there's a couple people that are actually looking for. Thank God for those couple people. I wish there was more people pushing this search forward and putting search parties together and trying to really find Nancy Guthrie instead of just trying to fucking make a paycheck off of her. It would be nice. You know what I'm saying? Because I really want this lady found. I like to see this wrap up. I like to see Savannah get some justice for her mother. Now, a lot of people still thinking that the family has something to do with it. And like I was saying, people say, Dolly, all you do is blame families. And I don't. I'm one of those people that never really thought that Savannah's family had anything to do with this. Now, I know a lot of my viewers do. Now, we don't always have to agree on everything. Sometimes as adults, grown-ups, we're going to disagree on things, right? I may have a different opinion, and I don't run an echo chamber here. I don't want an echo chamber. I want you people to have your own opinions. It don't matter if it aligns with mine or if it's completely different than mine. Because one good thing about Dolly Vision, it's an awesome discussion channel, and if we all agree, we really don't have anything to discuss, right? Now, in cases like Summer Wells, you know, I tell people all the time I usually cover cases that involve foul play. I don't usually cover runaway kids or runaway people. Sometimes I do, though. I can't always say I don't because sometimes I do. Matter of fact, I, I got to take down some videos. A girl asked me to take down some videos of a person that had went missing and I went looking for, and I forgot to take them down. I'm going to try to get to that today if I don't forget, right? She's done sent me a few messages, but I've been so busy I ain't had a chance to take the videos down because the person's been found and they don't, I guess they don't want that stuff out there. Um, I've been meaning to take those down, so I'll try to get to that today. But I don't always, in cases like Summer Wells, I don't always blame the family in disappearances, but usually I'm only covering cases that I find that there is foul play with inside the home or the family. I cover a lot of those cases. So of course, if I'm covering cases where I believe there is some type of ill will in the home, I'm going to say, hey, I think the family has something to do with it, right? Now, I can understand why so many people are suspicious of Nancy Guthrie's family. And I think most of that has to do with just straight behavior, and statistically, the last person to be seen with you or the last person to see you usually is the person that is responsible for what has happened to you. So, the internet has been going crazy about Tommaso. But let me give my warnings because I always like to stay safe. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing as fact. It's just my opinion. We're not taking calls this morning. I don't usually take calls early in the morning. I'm not even awake good. Okay. Um, and everyone is innocent to proven guilty in a court of law, even the people we're going to be talking about here today. Savannah's family, everybody, Summer Wells' family, everybody innocent to proven guilty in a court of law. But in the court of public opinion, these people are guilty as shit. Okay. And just remember, do not, whatever you do, don't try to be Dolly at home. It's dangerous. You could die. Right. And I ain't going to be held responsible for that. I ain't going to be held responsible for that. So, there's real, this whole time in the Nancy Guthrie case, we really haven't had any transparency. We honestly don't even know what's going on. We don't really know why Nancy was kidnapped. Now, they won't tell us for a fact that the ransom notes are real. They won't say these notes are real. They say we believe that these notes could be real. That's what they say. We believe these notes could be real. That Nancy could be buried in nature. But who talks like that? If you're buried outside, of course you're buried in nature. Or is she in the woods? Is she in a garden? Is she in, where is Nancy buried? We know at this point that Nancy Guthrie is not alive. Okay. I really don't think she's too far from where she was taken. I believe the person that took Nancy lives right around the Catalina foothills, maybe as far as South Tucson, but South Tucson is within 10 to 15 miles of Nancy Guthrie's house. So I believe this perpetrator that went out there and took Nancy, he was really comfortable. You can just tell by him in the video, he was really comfortable at Nancy's house. He wasn't in a rush. He was standing out in the open with a ski mask on. He felt comfortable there. And usually criminals that feel that comfortable, they're from that area, right? If you go outside your comfort zone, you're going to be working a little bit quicker. You're going to be a little bit more nervous. And it just didn't appear that this person had any of that fear in him. He was taking his time. He was in that home for almost 45 minutes. That's enough time for the police to get there, leave, come back, and leave again. He was in, and it didn't make no sense of why this person was in the house so long if he was just sent there to kidnap Nancy Guthrie. Okay, does it take 45 minutes to kidnap somebody? I think I could kidnap anybody in this room in less than 5 minutes. Okay. Most likely go up in that house and stay up inside that house for 45 minutes. Still to this day, I do not believe those kidnapping notes are real. Nanews has said he knows more. He said he can't say it. He said that clearly, open, right in a press conference. He said, yes, we know more. I believe we know why they kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. Why? Okay, was it ransom? If you don't even know these ransom notes are real? Or was there something missing from that home? And I believe there is something missing from that home. Yo, Dolly, did you hear Turtle Boy's news? Why would I care about Turtle Boy? The Karen Reed trials, nobody cares about that dude. Why would I waste my time where did he lose a leg or something? Is it something epic, Bloom? Go ahead, tell me. Go ahead. What happened? I want to know. What happened with Turtle Girl? Okay. There's only one Turtle King, and that's Dolly. But what happened? Fill me in. What did I miss? What did I miss? You're right. Okay, I'm right. Nobody cares, right? Karen Reed's a free woman. Why are people even still talking about that guy? Thank you very much for the support. I don't know. I don't catch many of the comments. I just happened to catch that comment, right? So I believe something was taken from that home, and Nanu's knows something was taken from that home, and they're not telling us because this whatever was taken is an item of interest, right? I'm hoping anyway, because if what nothing to mention, okay, then what the hell did you bring it up for? Keep my eyes on you, all right? You probably Turtle Boy. He's like, I'm going here and promote my channel. uh Turtle Boy is about to make his debut. Debut on what? The Baby Gap channel? I mean, oh my god. I mean, them dudes and me are just clowns. I don't. I'm sorry. You're fine. You're fine. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. I got jokes this morning. What was going on in Nancy's home? And when I first heard this, I know this is discussed, and a lot of people don't like to think about this. Was she SA'd? Right? Why was the person inside the home for so long? Was it an SA? Right? And then I was thinking, well, if you was going to SA somebody, you wouldn't prop the back door open. You wouldn't prop the fence open. The only reason you would do these things if you were taking things in and out the house. Okay. Did they bring something into the house to maybe tie her up? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I believe something was taken and they're just not telling us what was taken from that home. They say nothing was taken. Oh, it wasn't a robbery. Nothing was taken. That just doesn't make any sense to me personally, right? That nothing was just happened. Nothing. Um, he's not turtly enough for the Turtle Club. That is right. See that he's a turtle rider. We turtle gang. There's a difference. We gang over here. They be I don't know what they got going on over there. All I know is over with. Why are people still talking about it? Nobody gives a shit about Karen Reed. You know what I'm saying? That seems like 20 years ago. But some people don't have nothing but Karen Reed, and they just keep it going. It's like a revolving fucking door. Nobody cares. If I had a chance, I would back over Karen Reed. Okay, I'm playing. I wouldn't back her over, but get about 9 damn drinks in me. You never know. you never. She's lucky I don't drink. She's lucky I don't drink like that. And I ain't in Boston. I like Boston when I smoked. Okay, it's pretty cool when you smoke, but when I quit smoking, I ain't got nothing. I only like Boston anymore. All right. I was wearing a Celtics hat earlier, but I took it off. I said, let me get this John Deere on because I'm going full redneck today. Okay. Get her done. I was in that mood. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take off the Boston hat. But I was wearing, what did I do with this? Right here, look. Y'all thought I was lying, right? You can't see it. See, it says Boston Celtics. So I had the Boston hat on earlier. It's funny you said something about Karen Reed. Some bad timing, right? So anyway, I truly believe something was taken out of this house. I believe there's more video that we're not seeing, and I think they're asking you. You love your Celtics, okay? Um, they're asking for the public's help. But they don't want to be clear and transparent with us. It's hard to help when people really don't want your help. Put your Ferrari hat on. I don't have a Ferrari hat. I have a Corvette hat. I don't have a Ferrari. I wish. I wouldn't wear a Ferrari hat unless I had a Ferrari. You buy me a Ferrari and I'll put on a Ferrari hat. But right now, nope, ain't got one. Can't do it. Larry Bird. Okay, you old school. That dude's 90 years old now, ain't he? Is he even still alive? Is Larry Bird still alive? Um, but without clear transparency, how can we help find who this is? Why don't they release more video? Because I think if they released the video from the side of the house and the back of the house, it would show them carrying things out of the house. But what did they take? And what did Nancy have? Did she have a safe? Was Nancy known to keep money in her house? You know, some people, they keep money in their house. Okay, they got a lot of money. Not me. Okay, I don't keep no money in my house. But maybe she was. You know, older people like to, stick money in their mattress and save their money. Don't trust the banking system. I truly think this was a robbery, and they took Nancy because Nancy may have knew or had seen the person before, that is porch guy, or whoever was which porch guy. But I believe there's definitely two people involved in the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. And like I said, I don't really believe the ransom. Does anybody believe the ransom? If you believe the ransom, press 1 in the chat. If you think the ransom's fake, press 2. I just want to see where you people at. I think the ransom is completely fake. Me myself. Dolly, have you been selling shirts at work? Yes, I've been selling shirts, and James keeps buying up all my soap. So yeah, I've been selling stuff. So there's a lot of people that think this ransom letter is fake, like me. And listen, you know, it, if the ransom letter is fake, and this has nothing to do with Savannah, then it's just random, right? It's just a random crime. And that's what I've always felt like it was anyway. Because if you was like a hitman or a professional kidnapper, or you was somebody that was going to you would have kidnapped her the first time you were there, right? And we know they were there January 11th. Why didn't they kidnap Nancy January 11th? So they waited and came. People were like, well, they were scoping out the house. Well, if they knew where she was at, you can scope out the house on Zillow. If they're so internet savvy that they're gonna be able to block where they're sending ransom notes from, don't you think they can check the house out from Google Maps? Right? You can check it out, the inside, the layout from Zillow. Even Kohlberger in the Idaho 4 case, it's possible he knew the layout of the house before he even went to the house. If you have the address to the house, you can go look for the last time it was sold. You can find the layout pretty much amongst every home around these days with access to the internet. Yes, Google Maps isn't your friend. Yeah, I mean, if you're really trying to scope out a place and see the landscape and see everything, why even show up? Right? You can go on damn Google Earth and zoom in it, circle around the house, everything, and see everything. So people are like, well, they went to scope out the house. I just don't buy that. I believe that this person was preying on that neighborhood, and he was stalking the area, and he was walking around checking doors. And I think the proof is in the pudding. In the door camera video, you actually see him try the front door. He puts his hand over the camera like this, and he reaches out and he grabs the doorknob, and he's checking to see if it's unlocked. Now, somebody might have told him, hey, Nancy sometimes leaves that door unlocked. And he was checking, and he was just only hitting that house. But you would think if you lived in a remote area that's secluded like that, dark as it is, you would lock your house up at night. Most people would. And most people out there have bars and metal gates on the windows and doors. But one thing I can't figure out is, why would you secure the front of the house with metal gates, double locks, all that, but then have a back door that's not, you can get right to? What good is it putting the metal gate up around the front if you're not going to secure the back of your home? Like when you drive through there, a lot of those houses, right, have barred up windows, which Nancy's wasn't barred. They have barred up front doors or front porches where it's barred before you even get to the front door. And then in the back, it's the same way all the way around the house, because a lot of those people that live there, they only live there, in the wintertime. In the summertime, they go somewhere else because it's too hot in the desert. And then when it gets cold where they're at, they go back to the desert where it's warm. So, believe it or not, there's a lot of houses right there around Nancy Guthrie's that are empty. Was this a case of, a lot of people think it was somebody that stayed in the Airbnb. Well, they would have had to been in that Airbnb for a long time, and they were because they were there January 11th. Like, people want to leave that out, right? But it's important because they didn't they waited 3 weeks almost to come back. Well, if they were in an Airbnb, who stays in an Airbnb in the desert for 3 weeks? Nobody. Nobody. So, and then, a lot of people thought maybe it had something to do with the gym show that's in town, right? And everybody wanted these gyms, and there was somebody that had $1 million worth. It's weird how people just make up stuff or like value of prices and stuff like that. Um, Chad, you think any of the bandmates wouldn't give info for $1.2 million? Of course. You would tell on your mother for $1.2 million. Most people would. Now, I wouldn't, but some people would. Um, I don't think this has anything to do with Tommaso's band. There's only one of them that's not a successful person. The other two dudes are pretty damn successful in the band. And listen, everybody thinks Tommaso's broke. We don't know that he's broke. That man could have been saving for the last 20 years. He could have made really good investments and really good decisions. He has an honorable job. He's a teacher. He teaches the youth, right? We haven't heard any students come out and talk bad about Tommaso. Just think about that. He's been a teacher for years. There ain't one person come out and say that Tommaso was a shitty teacher or a bad person or he was weird or a creep. We ain't heard one person. Not one. If you can name somebody, let me know, because I ain't heard one student come out and say one bad thing about Tommaso. So we don't know. This dude could be a big teddy bear, and he's getting blamed for the worst thing you could ever do because he gave his mother-in-law a ride home. Okay? Is that bad? He, like I said, he could be a good dude, and he's just getting a bum rap. It ain't the first time that the internet has attacked and been wrong, right? Everybody was wrong in the Idaho 4, right? Everybody blamed the college kids. They were like, it was Jack D, Jack S, bartender, and it was none of those people, right? And all those people got blamed and called terrible murderers and killers and just weirdo stuff, and people were wrong. It happens. It's could it be? Absolutely, but I don't think with no evidence to sit here and just blame a person for something without no proof. We could say, well, we're suspicious of you, because you was the last person with Nancy. But I wish they would release the video of Tommaso dropping her off because it's got it on video. See, the police are lying so bad. Like, oh, we don't have video from any other day but that minute on that one camera. There was multiple cameras on that house running. They had the technology to get video from one camera, but they didn't have the technology to get it from the other cameras. That's bullshit. They got video from all those cameras from every day, right? They had it all the way up to January 11th, 3 weeks before it even happened. If they could get it back to January 11th, they got plenty of video, right? But why not show us? What are they hiding? They don't want us to know the timeline because the video didn't have any timestamp. Show me one video of any security footage ever in the history of fucking security footage that doesn't have a timestamp on it. Why did they blow it up and make it where you couldn't see the timestamps? They don't want us to know what time any of that was. They didn't show us the timestamp on January 11th, and they didn't show us a timestamp on February 1st. So either way, they're hiding something. And if you're going to hide something, there's a reason you're hiding it. Okay, you just ain't hiding something for the fucking good. That's like me taking this soda and hiding it, right? I'm going to hide this soda so y'all don't see it, right? Why would I do that? It wouldn't make no sense. I would just show you the soda unless I had something to hide. Like this is Coke Zero. It's sugar free. Okay. Now, if it had sugar in it, I'd probably hide it because I told y'all not to let me drink soda. But since this is 0 calories and 0 sugar, no need to hide it, right? So you're going to hide something when you have a reason to hide it. You're just not going to hide something for your fucking health, right? So they're hiding something. And the question is what? Why are you lying to us? And what are you hiding? They're playing a game of smoke and mirrors. Like, are they that stupid? The internet thinks, yeah, you're that stupid. They're not. They're playing stupid. Okay. I think they're playing stupid because there's details that are there that could possibly at some point lead them to whoever this person is. Okay. If you came in my house and you stole it's a little thing here, I'm going to use as an example. It's one of these little things that you turn upside down and all the sand falls. Can y'all see that? See the sand moving? Pretty cool, right? All right, say you stole this. You broke in my house and this is missing. And am I going to come out and say, well, they stole the sand, be on the lookout for the sand, right? Because as soon as a criminal hears that, what are they going to do? They're going to be like, phew, they're going to chunk it. It's going to be gone. They're going to destroy it. You ain't going to see that shit no more. But if you don't say nothing, they may think, well, they don't even know this is missing. They're saying nothing was taken. We can sell this. Okay. Then you sell it to maybe a drug dealer or a pawn shop or on Marketplace or uh, one of these apps that you sell things on, and they're looking for it, right? They have their cyber unit, FBI. They're looking for whatever was taken from the house. So they're not going to tell us, well, they took the sand thing when the FBI and the police are looking for it. They're not going to do that. That's like showing your hand. That's like sitting at a poker table and showing the dealer your cards. You're not going to do that. You're trying to win. You're trying to win the game, right? So I do believe something was taken. And then there's, if you just watch how he acts when they ask him questions and does he know more, and we believe we know why they went to Nancy, because it was a robbery. They took shit from that house. There's no other explanation. It don't make any other sense unless they took stuff and then maybe there was an altercation. Maybe Nancy did know the person or had seen the person, or they thought she may recognize them, or they just wanted to get rid of her. You know, it's hard to think that somebody would do that in a robbery, though. Like if they just wanted to break into your house and steal stuff, usually most people would wait till you're gone, right? But believe it or not, there are a lot of burglaries that do take place when people are home, right? So, did she see him? And like he didn't know Nancy was there? Did he think the house was empty? Because there are other empty houses. And maybe he thought he was breaking into an empty house, and when he got in there, he was confronted by Nancy. I got one just like that, Dolly. LOL. Well, cool. I'm just saying. I just use that as an example of but I can give you so many reasons why I believe something was stolen from that house, and I don't believe the ransom. And there's only a few options it could be. It could either be the kidnapping for ransom, robbery, or SA. That's it. Them are the only three things it could be. So if we think that the ransom ain't real, then that only leaves robbery and SA. People just don't do this for any other reason. Okay, so and with no transparency and the way the police are hiding things and how they're acting, I believe this is it's Occam's razor. The most simpler explanation is most likely what the explanation is. Like I said all the time, people want to turn Nancy Guthrie into a Stephen King movie. They want to turn it into some Steven Spielberg They want to make it a Hollywood drama with all these moving pieces, when really it's just some criminal that was an opportunist, seen an opportunity, and he took it. And people will kill you for $10 in this world. Okay, I knew there's two boys that were living up the street from me, and they still haven't caught their killers. It was two boys. They were, I think they were 14 and 15, and they were selling a little bit of sticky icky, like little nicks and dimes. Dudes ran up in the house with guns, shot and killed both of them, robbed them right there in front of their parents, took off. They never caught the killers of these two boys down the street. 14 and 15 years old, brutally murdered right in front of their parents. Well, one of them's parents. The other boy was staying the night. And they never caught the killers. So, I mean, people will kill you for next to nothing. People get robbed coming out the store, shot and killed. Would they take $20? People shoot the pizza man. Okay, why would you kill the pizza guy? You know he ain't got no money. He wouldn't be a pizza guy if he had money, right? So you know he's broke, working for fucking minimum wage, and all he got is $25 in tips in his pocket. And people kill the pizza guy all the time. It's like when people go in and shoot a gas station attendant. Why'd you do that? You didn't even have to do it, but they do it anyway. You don't have to hurt nobody to rob them, but people get hurt every day, shot. And it's just like people don't value life anymore in this world. And they broke in. She was there. Let's get rid of her. She seen us. She heard us. Maybe when he went in the house, he took the mask off. Next thing you know, boom, there's Nancy. Done seen his face. Maybe in the struggle, she's seen his face. Now, you done seen us. We got to take you. Like the ransom notes read like they were wrote from somebody outside the country. I don't think if a person was going to kidnap you, they were smart enough to hide their IP addresses, use VPNs. Whoever did that would have to be computer savvy. And most computer savvy people are not breaking into homes and abducting people. Okay? This is somebody that knew how to navigate the internet fairly well. Dolly, when is your holiday? What do you mean, my holiday? My birthday's coming up. My birthday's on the 23rd. Okay. I'm gonna be in the Bahamas for my birthday. So I will be broadcasting from the Bahamas on my birthday. PJ's birthday is the 20th. Hers is 21st. Shit. 21st. And mine is the 23rd. So we're leaving out. It ain't a vacation. I'm gonna be working. Okay. It's gonna be part vacation, part work. Because I am going to go cover the Lynette Hooker stuff in the Bahamas. So I'm going to be double tasking. Mostly vacation, a little bit of work. Okay. But mostly vacation. I haven't took a vacation in 5 years. All right. So this is going to be more vacation than work. But I am going to do a little bit of work for you guys and bring y'all some videos while I'm there. Because I might as well there. There's some crime that took place there, so we might as well get it in. You know me, when I go places, I like to cover crime and still be able to do what have a good time at the same time. I got to make sure PJ has fun. Swimming with the pigs, yes. Your granddaughter's birthday is August 20th. Well, happy birthday to your granddaughter, and thank you guys for tuning in with me this morning. Y'all guys are up early. Okay, especially if you're in Arizona or any on the West Coast, because it's really early there. It's 9:34 a.m. here on the East Coast. So usually I'm not here this early with you guys in the morning, but I was up late last night doing laundry. Okay. Yes, Dolly does laundry. Okay. This YouTube shit, this ain't always rainbows and unicorns. I got to clean the house and do chores and all kinds of stuff. And I just got into a role and it was like cleaning up. And so I was like, all right, I've been cleaning up. I might as well. But I slept all day yesterday. So I stayed up cleaning up, and then I came up here with you like guys live, and then because I'm trying to get a sleep schedule because I have to be at the hospital tomorrow, right? And I don't usually go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, so I need to be able when I get there. I need to be able to be tired so that I go to sleep at 8, and then I'll be in the hospital from 8 to the following morning. But if I get in there and I can't sleep because I'm a night owl, right? I have insomnia. I can't damn sleep. Um, then how are they going to do a study on me if I can't sleep, right? So, and but they already know. I don't know why they even need to do it, but I guess they're going to do it. And like I said, I got a lot of doctor stuff coming up. It really sucks because some of the tests didn't come back like as good as they could have, right? So it is what it is, you know. So I'm just grateful to be here, that I'm with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful to be here. So I got to get a schedule going. That's why I'm trying to stay up, and then so I can go to bed early and get on a cycle for tomorrow because I need to go to bed early, right? Best wishes in the hospital. Well, it's just a sleep study. They're not doing anything. They ain't giving me like open heart surgery or nothing. They just gonna hook me to some machines, check out my breathing. That's this way they can gauge what the machine needs to be on when I sleep because they told me I have to be on a machine forever, the CPAP stuff, right? Um, and I'm gonna have to be on that forever. And they just it's to see what the settings are and to I don't know what else the hell they're doing. I ain't a doctor. Um, you got gallbladder surgery coming. Well, I wish you luck, guys. Everybody, when you get older, you really got to start taking care of yourself and, pay attention to your health. And I've been taking everything really serious, and sorry to vent with you guys, but y'all are like my psychiatrist. But yeah, it's a little worrisome, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not tripping over it really. I'm just hoping for the best and that everything you know, turns out okay. Like I said, I got a little bit of bad news, but hopefully it gets better. That's one of those things, you know what I'm saying? And I'm here now. You know what I'm saying? I'm here now. Um, I got insurance. Yeah, I got insurance. As far as the coverage and stuff goes, I'm good on that end, So just take your health seriously, especially when you hit about the 50 age. I take my health a lot more serious now than I once did. I'm not quite 84 like Nancy, and hard getting around. And that's the bad thing about it was Nancy was defenseless, right? What fight can an 84-year-old woman really put up? Now I know there's probably some 84-year-old women up in here and talking about Dolly, I kick your ass, right? I get it. But I mean, far as a young man attacking an 84-year-old woman, that is a monster, right? Like, it ain't good to attack anybody. You will feel so much better when you use the CPAP. Yeah, I don't want to make this totally about me, but I hope so. They say I stop breathing like 40 times an hour. That's crazy. The machine said 38. Okay, but the doctor told me this. The machine is always a little bit under what it actually is when you're in the lab, which I'll be in the lab tomorrow. He said the machine's always a little bit under. He said so he believes I stopped breathing more than 38 times. He said my shit is severe and that's what's leading to heart complications and it sucks, right? Because soon as that test was my doctors were blowing me up, then I had to do the ultrasound on my heart. That didn't come back like great. There's some concerns and that sucked. And I'm just like, damn, but they think maybe that this breathing stuff that when I finally get some oxygen to my brain, my heart is overworking because I'm not breathing at night. Like when I go to sleep, the lack of oxygen, my heart's working harder. to get oxygen to my lungs, and it's causing some complications. So hopefully, when they get me breathing right, it'll fix what's going on with my heart. Hopefully, So, but I'm not going to try to worry myself to death. There's really nothing I can do, you know, until they have me hooked up to the machines and just do what they tell me to do. I've been trying not to you know, uh, stress myself out about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I have no control over what's going on. So I just try not to think about it too much. Try not to worry about it too much, because I think my biggest problem has always been anxiety, and my anxiety hasn't been really bad. So, I don't want to just start worrying myself with it too much where it triggers like a panic attack or something like that. But over the last, I don't know, man, for like the last year, my anxiety's been it's been fine. It ain't been bad, which is good for me because that's really what I thought triggered everything 2 years ago was my really bad anxiety. And like I said, my anxiety's been so much better. I've been feeling better. So when I got results back that wasn't good, I was thinking, damn, I feel so much better. But you just never know what's going on inside. You know what I'm saying? You can feel great. I felt great that night I had a heart attack. I felt good. I felt like nothing was wrong. Wasn't in pain, had a bad anxiety, but that was it. I would like far as, the situation, so you can feel fucking great and be dead the next day. It's just the way life is. Like it is what it is. Don't get discouraged. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Um, sometimes I just vent, get it off my chest. And like I said, on my day to day, I've been trying not to really think about it too much. And because, like I said, when I think about it, I'm just like, well, it's out of my hands. This is something that's in, the doctors and God's hands. It ain't nothing personally I can do to make anything different than what's going on. Just nothing I can do about it until I have the treatment and they set it all up and everything goes through. And but thank you guys for listening to me. It takes a little bit off my chest to be able to, I don't really like to get into my personal stuff. PJ hates it. She hates when I tell people my personal business, right? um she thinks it's oversharing. But I look at a lot of you guys like my friends, and some of you guys are like family to me. So I'm an open book. I don't really have too much to hide. And a lot of people, y'all been with me through this journey of, since I was in ICU, and y'all were praying for me and pulling for me. And so, shit, I owe you guys to, to let you know what's going on at least. That's how I feel about it anyway. So I, I'm, I want to be around to see some justice, right? That's the important thing. We get some damn justice for Nancy Guthrie. And these people that are clowns out here, I'm praying they get some karma and we get some justice, because that's the most important thing in all this. And that way, how I haven't been getting good sleep. You know who else ain't been getting good sleep? Savannah, probably Cameron, maybe Annie. I don't know. We'll leave her out, right? We'll leave her out for now. But I guarantee you that Savannah's not getting good sleep, and she's sleeping in a $1 million bed with silk sheets and pillows, and she probably still ain't sleeping good. I mean, I'm sure she's breathing, but I'm sure she's stressed out, and stress is a killer, right? Stress is a killer. It's deadly. Like that one, Savannah's aging by the minute going through this. And I'm sure Cameron is too. Possibly Annie. Being that stressed out is terrible for every part of your body. It's bad for. We got 211 likes. That's stressful right there. That's going to lead me into a panic attack right there. Going to be homeless. Y'all like the damn video. You're like, Like, man, I didn't know that was gonna be Dolly's last video. I should have liked it, right? Don't dislike it now. Okay. Like it now. Don't be like Dolly was my favorite when I'm gone. Be like Dolly's my favorite now. Okay. I never got that when people buy you flowers when you die. Why didn't you give me flowers when I was alive? Okay, I can enjoy it. I mean, I don't really want no flowers, but I'm just saying. You ever notice that? Every time somebody dies, you ain't did shit for them, but then you're like, you want to send some flowers. Like, why you do some shit for me when I was alive? Okay, let me know you love me now. That ain't gonna do no good when I'm fucking pushing up daisies. All right, I need the love right now. And you know how you start that love? You like the damn video. That's how you do it. Wouldn't you rather get flowers while you're alive? Anybody in here? Wouldn't you? What the hell good flowers gonna do you when you dead? Okay, buy me an urn. That's it. So, what my mom always said, it's true. Love me now. Don't wait till I'm gone. Okay. You ever notice, like, like let's just use Biggie and Tupac because Tupac trial's about to start. Everybody love Biggie and Tupac now. Why y'all love them like that when they were alive? you know, you need that love while you're alive. I want to feel it while I'm here with you. Okay, I want to feel it when I'm here with you. When I look at this video, I want to see we got 634 people in the room right now. I want to see at least 600 and I don't know. Some of y'all probably hate me and y'all watching from the bushes because I do got some hate watchers, but I want to see at least 600 likes. Okay, at least when this video ends. I know 28 of you at least hate my guts, and you're just here hoping, I don't know, that I'll say something crazy and you can use it against me in the court of law. I don't know. You're 100% right. So I ain't going to give up hope on justice for Nancy yet because it's only been 6 months. Okay. Maybe about the year mark. I'm going to give her another 6 months. And at that year mark, I'm going to be like, hey, never finding Nancy. If they don't find her in this first year, I don't think they're going to find her. Right. But 6 months is still a little too soon to give up hope. Right. Because I do sometimes feel that these answers ain't going to come. I'm going to be honest. I do. Right. But I still, some days I'll be like, man, that ain't a good way to think. Let's be positive. Let's put good energy into the world. Because if everybody thinks negatively, I think negative stuff happens. But if you put that positive stuff, that good energy out into the world, good things happen. So I want people to be positive that answers will come. You ever heard that's like think it into existence? See it, perceive it, it'll happen kind of thing. I really want her found, and so I can be like, I told y'all so. For all these YouTube channels out here that really did attack her family and blame the family, and because I think I'm right. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. And the only way I'm going to know if I'm right is if she's found. Okay, so I need her found. If not, think about this. If Annie and Tommaso didn't do it, they're going to have this stigma over their head forever. There will be people that always will think that Tommaso and Annie did something to their mother and mother-in-law. Some people, once it's in their head, it's hard to get them out of their head. And a lot of people believe anything they hear on the internet. And without any reasoning, they just like, they did it. No evidence against them, no nothing. There's not, but still people are convinced that they did it. Nanu's, you're a terrible leader. Man, maybe he ain't. Maybe, like I said, that he knows something they just can't tell us. And, or he sucks. I'm leaning more towards he sucks, and he's a terrible leader, like you said. But I'm trying to stay positive. If he just sucks, we know that she ain't never going to be found. If we have a little bit of hope, he'll still suck, but we just got to keep the hope alive. But everybody that says he sucks, I agree with you 100%. I wouldn't want him to be the sheriff around here. But like in Virginia, where I'm at, the sheriff don't do nothing. We got a police force, detectives, homicide investigators. We got certain teams that do certain things. Our sheriffs, they just work the jail. They don't do nothing. They bring court papers to your house. That's it. They don't arrest people. They don't investigate nothing. They just, they're nobodies here. You a sheriff, you might as well be a damn, the mailman. Okay. They don't do nothing. Like, that's all they do is bring you summonses to court. That's it. Like, they don't have no power. Like, it, yeah, the postman, guys, when at least a postman carries pepper spray, right? I mean, the sheriffs around here, they're nobodies. Nanu's has no plan. He's dumb as a rock. He can't be too dumb. He lives in a nice ass house. He drives a nice ass car, right? He ain't too dumb. How do you get all that nice stuff being a dumbass? How do you get that? He's a sheriff. He's pretty successful. So he ain't but so dumb. He ain't dumb enough that he ain't, he's riding around in a Toyota. He ain't riding a fucking Prius. That dude's driving around in a C8 Corvette. He's doing pretty fucking good. You know, he ain't playing. I mean, his shit ain't as smooth as Dolly's, but he doing all right. I'm sure he lives in a lot nicer house. So, I mean, the man got a nice house. He's making 6 figures a year. How do you get stupid? How can you be so stupid and be in that position? He lied to get it all. Yeah, maybe that's why. Like, maybe that's why. But I mean, you got to think about it. He was smart enough to lie. I mean, it takes a little intelligence to be running shit. Hey, let's be honest. He's a boss. Um, well, this dude came into, I detail cars, right? So this dude came in to get his car detailed. I gave him a price. He looked at me like it was high, right? I looked at him. I said, "You know what, man? It costs to be a boss." And he was like, "Man, you know what? You're right." He's like, "All right, go ahead and do it." That's what sold him, though. I said, "Look, man, shit, it costs to be a boss. You want to be a boss? You better pull out the money. Okay, you better do some boss shit. Let me get that bread." You know what I'm saying? But that's how I sold him. That's exactly what I told him. I said, "Man, it costs to be a boss. And you can't be a boss free." You know what I'm saying? That ain't how that shit works. It takes money to make money. But I don't think he's that damn stupid. I'm hoping, right? And you could be absolutely right. He could be the dumbest damn thing since a cactus. Okay, he could be as dumb as the javelinas or the coyotes. He could be like Wile Coyote. Couldn't catch a damn nothing. It could be. I'm just being hopeful, right? That we got little Jesus on our side and they know something that they're not telling us, and it could actually solve the case. Because right now, let's just say y'all right. He's a dumbass. Then the case is never going to be solved. Why are we even talking about it? It's a done deal. Rest in peace, Nancy Guthrie. That last video made, right? That's kind of what it is. If you just don't, if you think he's a dumbass, this is over with. Why are we even talking about it, right? Why are we even interested in it if it's over? We got to have a little hope, right? We got to have a little hope that, man, this, even if you hope that you're wrong, right? You know how I say things like, in true crime, I always want to be wrong because I'm a doom and gloom person. And I always think people are monsters and they did it. Did y'all hear about this serial killer called in, I think it's Pennsylvania, that he's been dropping people in barrels of acid? Have y'all heard about this? They found 5 urns in his house and they all had human remains in it. They found 600,000 images of this dude with women while they were alive and with women, Sage said yes, they believe are deceased. This could be one of the most prolific serial killers of all time. Just caught, like just the other day, right? He when they pulled him over. He had guns on him. He had drugs on him. He had an FBI ID. He was with a woman because they were fighting. They seen him fighting in the vehicle, and she had an ID of a girl that's been missing for 4 years. Okay, she tried to say she was that girl. That girl's been missing for 4 years. They have four so far. They've went through some of the pictures, and they found four people that are missing that were alive in the pictures and then deceased in the pictures. And he had told people that he was melting women. And they found these big tubs with some type of fluid in it, but they ain't said what it is yet. But people are speculating that he was putting women in these barrels, and whatever's in it is eating them completely gone. They haven't found any of the bodies, none, zero. They said it's going to take. He had hundreds of thousands of videos, 600,000 pictures. He had he had journals, books, manifests. They're like they don't even know where to start with this. And I try to tell people this all the time, that there's people like this that are this sick out here, and that our world is breeding serial killers. I truly believe that we're breeding monsters. Everything people taking, people are so sick. And look, he had to have been doing it for at least the last 20 years. I mean, for the last 20 years, this dude has probably been unaliving people. They raided his house. They found all this stuff. He's just a bad dude, a bad, bad man. And I don't know what he's going to confess to or whatever's going to come of this, but they're saying it could take years just for them to figure out how many people he's killed. When I was watching that stuff the other night, I was like, wow. Wow. And he like they're saying already that he may be the most prolific serial killer ever caught. Now that ain't been proven yet, but there's so much to go through that they saying they don't even know where to begin. That it's so much. They just know it already. They just started going through 5%. They said they got 5% of the stuff, and they've already found 9 victims with 5%. Five of them are on the mantle in an in urns with human remains, human DNA. They don't know who the 5 urns are. Why he would have them in urns, I don't know. There's 4 girls in the pictures that they've already discovered missing. They were alive, and in other images they're gone. So that's 9 total right there that they know of already. And they said that's just 5% of the stuff they went through. So if you think of time they get to 100% of the stuff and you're already at 9, this dude could have possibly killed hundreds of people. It would make him the most prolific serial killer ever in America. Like, wow. Wow. And he got pulled over and got caught. That's just it's nuts. It's nuts. And I believe that there's way more people out there doing these things. And because you look at the amount of people that just vanish, okay, a lot of times when they know there's a serial killer, it's because they find the bodies, okay, and they have similar, like they were strangled, they were bound, they were whatever it may be. They know it's a serial killer, it's a pattern. But when you don't find the bodies, them women just vanish, gone. And how many people vanish a year? You're talking hundreds of thousands of people just vanish off the planet every year. Where did them people go? And so many people think, oh, well, serial, you can't be a serial killer these days. DNA and all this, and you'll get caught. Well, this dude was just doing it. You know what I'm saying? He was just doing it. And where are all them other hundreds of thousands of people that go missing every year? Like, think about that, a year. If you got 100,000 people go missing every year in 5 years, that's 500,000 people. Where the hell did they go? Somebody's doing something out there. And I ain't trying to scare nobody, you know, but I'm trying to scare you. The world is a scary place. You just never know. Like, you know, he's going to make BTK look like a nobody. LOL. I mean, it's weird because sometimes the media it hasn't hit big in the media. It's not real big in the media. Whereas Ted Bundy was huge in the media, right? BTK was really big in the media. Gary Goodridge, big in the media. The Green River Killer. So I mean, once they start to figure out what this person's done, oh yeah, it'll be huge. It's going to be massive. I can already tell. Like they're still taking shit out of his house. Like it's going to be bad. It's going to be really really bad. And when people act like that, that's when movies are made about you. That's when there's a lot of horror movies are based off of true crime. A lot of people don't know that. So when I'm a horror fan, it relates to true crime because most horror movies were based off of Ed Gein. And Ed Gein, believe it or not, didn't kill but one person. But he turned into Leatherface. He turned into Psycho because his crimes were so bizarre and so unusual, far as digging up corpses and things he was doing with corpses. And he only killed one girl. He killed this girl that worked at a store, and he skinned her, and he had her hanging up, and that was the daughter of the sheriff. And of course, Ed Gein was captured. But when they searched his house, they found all kinds of bodies. But he didn't kill those people. He was grave robbing, and he was bringing their bodies back to the house, and he was making like cereal bowls out of skulls, and even Jeffrey Dahmer was trying to create a chair. Did anybody know that he was trying to create a throne from bones? That he was going to build him like a king chair from human bones and remains. So he had a little bit of that Ed Gein in him. And for anybody that don't know, you see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It says it was based on a true story. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre ain't real at all. There was no Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface was taken from Ed Gein, right? That's who they based. That's why they say it's based on a true story, because it's Leatherface is based on Ed Gein, how they went into a house and there's all these corpses and dead things in the house. But it really never took place. That's a complete lie. And they based, because his fascination with his mother, okay, for anybody that's old enough to watch Psycho, okay, he was having relations with his mother after she was gone. It sounds, it's horrible. But then in Norman Bates, he thought he was his mother. But they based that off of Ed Gein too. So a lot of these horror movies you're seeing that they're based off of actual real killers. And they just, they made it better for the movies, a little more scary, but really it's the dude next door. And everybody that knew Ed Gein said he was friendly, he would help you. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, at night he was digging up corpses. You just never really know what somebody's capable of doing. And no matter what, you always hear this every time. Every time you hear this, man, I never thought he'd do something like that. I never would have never knew. When you see somebody scary, it ain't never those people. It's always somebody that you would think, oh man, that dude wouldn't do that. And then next thing you know, he got 700 corpses buried under the house. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. Like people that knew John Wayne Gacy, they thought he was a good dude. He was into politics and things like that. And next thing you know, you got boys buried in the damn underneath the house. You know, I went to the horror convention and they were selling dirt from John Wayne Gacy's house. And I was thinking to myself, how do I know this dirt is from John Wayne Gacy's house? This could be just a jar of dirt for $20. You know what I'm saying? You can send that. I'm going to, I wonder, I'm about to do this horror convention. Can I put some dirt in some cups and be like, yo, this right here is from, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know that? I even asked the dude, he was like, yeah, I'm from there. I took these before they tore the house down. I went up there and dug up some of the dirt, but they were selling the dirt from John Wayne Gacy's house at the horror convention in, where was I at? Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky. So it's just like, damn, that's a weird thing. You walk up and they be like, yeah, here, there's some dirt from John Wayne Gacy's house. Gacy was evil. Yeah, I think he was a homosexual male that didn't want to admit it, and he didn't want people to know. So his motive was to get rid of people so they couldn't tell, and because he was in a time that it wasn't acceptable like it is today. Like nobody cares today, but back then they did. And his thing was he denied being a homosexual male for the longest time, right? I mean, the longest time. And he had made so much money from prison, John Wayne Gacy. He was rich. He's rich in prison. He was running the prison. Matter of fact, there was a video that leaked from a guard, and John Wayne Gacy was in a cell with a stack of money. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds. I mean, piles of money, and a plate with a white substance on it. Okay, and uh, a transsexual male in the cell with him. And this video leaked. They fired the guards, all the guards that overseen John Wayne Gacy. They fired the warden, and then they executed him. But a lot of people believe if that video hadn't leaked, they wouldn't have executed him. But when that video leaked, they executed John Wayne Gacy. Which then they passed a law because Charles Manson and John Wayne Gacy were making so much money from prison off their victims that they changed the law to where they couldn't make money. So what they were doing was they were doing paintings and different things, and their guards were sneaking it out to prison, and those paintings sell for $10,000-$20,000 right now. It's a weird thing to have, but if you have an original John Wayne Gacy painting, oh, that thing's worth some money. I mean, to weird people, it's worth a lot of money. Okay, and they're hard to get your hands on. Okay, that's like, damn. Like if you got a poke, oh man, you sitting on 20 G's. You sitting on 20 G's. Like if you for some reason was a friend of John Wayne Gacy's and he sent you one of these pictures, oh man, yeah, you sitting on some money. Son of Sam laws. But the world's a crazy place, and the monsters that we had in the 70s and the very early 80s, I think the monsters that we have in 2026 make them look like there's people out here 1,000 times worse than Ted Bundy. 1,000 times worse. I mean, when they based Hannibal Lecter, off of somebody that's intelligent, smart, hard to catch because they're smarter than the people that are trying to catch them, there's people out here like that. It ain't just. It takes somebody with a certain level of intelligence to be able to get away with these types of crimes. Okay? And it's crazy that I got this corn shirt on talking about it, because you know who collects more serial killer stuff than anybody? Has the largest collection of Gacy paintings, Dahmer stuff, every serial killer you can think about. Jonathan Davis from Korn. He collects serial killer stuff. He said he thinks it's cursed and it brings him bad luck. And he was talking about selling his whole collection. I don't know if he ever did, but he owned a bunch of Gacy paintings. He owned a bunch of stuff from Jeffrey Dahmer. He owned a bunch of stuff from the Son of Sam. He owned a bunch of stuff from Ted Bundy. I mean, he had all kinds of stuff. Like, and he was, the weird thing was he worked as a coroner. So you got a dude that's got a weird fascination with the dead, and he collects serial killer stuff. He's a creepy dude. I mean, he's a creepy guy. If you just think about what he's into, you're like, oh, bro, you on the creepy side. You know what I'm saying? I like Korn. I like your music, but man, I wouldn't want to be in a dark room with you. You know what I'm saying? You with a fork in your hand, I'd be a little worried. You might eat me. You know what I'm saying? What? You've been around so many dead bodies. Like it takes a. That's weird. It's just weird. I think he sold 90%. Did he? I know he owned the largest collection out there. And I remember him saying that he was talking about selling it because he said that he believed some of it was cursed and it was bringing him bad luck. I don't know what kind of luck he had, but you could see it too. He had it on tour with him. Like he had it in a trailer and you could walk through the trailer. It was $2 to walk through it. And you could walk through and you could see all the letters, all the paintings, different things that he had collected from all these different serial killers around the world. So, I mean, I don't know. People, even me, like I always research on serial killers and things like that. It ain't that they're killings that I really stress on, right? It's their mind. Because I truly believe that some of these killers should be studied because like Ted Bundy, I wouldn't have gave Ted Bundy the death penalty. I would have studied Ted Bundy because he was open and willing to talk, right? And not that he didn't lie, because he did lie. He would do things to benefit himself. But I thought there was so much that the FBI could have learned from Ted Bundy because there's going to be a lot of Ted Bundys. So the more you could have took from him, the better, because he was a psycho. Okay, I mean a whole level of evil that you just don't see in what has it been 30 years, 40 years? You just don't see shit like that. You could literally see how evil Ted Bundy was. And there's a few people like that. The damn the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, you could see the evil in it. Like they're so evil that they radiate evil. You can physically see it. That it's like you can almost see they seem possessed. They seem like the devil. Like it's like and yes, he cunning. He was so slick about his approach, and he was homing his skills into becoming a better and better killer. He just got reckless, you know. He just got reckless. If he hadn't wild out the way he would, he probably could have killed years, for years. And to study somebody like that and to break apart their mind and I've always listened to Ted Bundy because I always believed Ted Bundy, and I look at him as one of the most deranged people in the mind because he was able to be an average guy and then turn of a switch, he was a psycho killer, right? He hid that from everybody perfectly. So to study his mind and what made him think and what made him want to hurt women, and he would openly say what caused him to do what he did, and he said it was pornography. Looking at images of made him want to hurt women. And I always look at it like if Ted Bundy was telling the truth and these perversions made him the way he was. And I'm talking stuff in the 70s, soft core. All right, soft core. I mean, shit, Cinemax shows worse, right? Think about what people are seeing today and what that does to a person that may not be all the way there, what that does to a person's mind. I've seen shit on the internet that will make you cringe. Like, like I can't even believe it. Like, who the hell watches this, right? It has gotten that bad. You click on the wrong thing on the internet and you will see some things you won't never forget. So, what does that do to a kid's mind when they're seeing these things? I mean, brutal things against women, not this little 50 Shades of Gray. No, no, no. It's and your kids have access to this. Your grandkids got access to this. What is it doing to their minds? How are they going to think of women when they turn to be a man and they look at women a certain type of way? We already have shit I'd never heard of. Incels, men that hate women. That I didn't. Who knew that shit existed? Not gay men, just men that hate women. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. Right? It's women, the best shit on the planet, right? But there's men that just hate women. Where does that come from? It's what made that, because that wasn't a thing when I was young. That wasn't a thing. If you would have looked at me when I was 20 years ago and said incel, I'd have been like, what the hell is an incel? What the hell is that? You didn't know about to the Idaho 4. See what I'm saying? That it's creating it's creating something. Something is different, in the world we live in. And it's coming from crazy perversions. These weird things that are like maybe don't seem weird to people that are into these things, but with somebody that's used to just regular old shit, it's bizarre. It's different, and and listen, it's just like I said, if Ted Bundy wasn't lying about what made him the way he was, I just look at it like, what are we creating today? We create monsters. I mean, bad monsters. And right now we don't know that because we haven't caught them. But give it a little time and these people start to getting caught, you're going to see crimes that are way worse than anything that ever happened between Gacy, Dahmer. These dudes, they're going to get blown out the water with monsters. Like there's going to be people so much more worse than what we've seen that it's going to be just unreal. And not just think about what Kohlberger would have become if he hadn't been caught. Has anybody seen Red Dragon? Has anybody ever seen that movie? It's a Silence of the Lamb movie. It's a Hannibal Lecter movie, but it's about becoming the dragon, becoming the monster, defining your skills to become a better, more prolific monster. And as each person he does something to, he's becoming the dragon. That's why it's called that. Has anybody watched the Hannibal Lecter series? I think the Hannibal Lecter series is phenomenal. Okay. They use so much FBI realness in the Silence of the Lambs movies that we even seen it in the Nancy Guthrie case. They quoted Silence of the Lambs in the Nancy Guthrie case. The FBI did. So I mean, they have a playbook, and the directors of Silence of the Lamb worked directly with the FBI to make their movies as real as they could. And they break down Buffalo Bill, the whole thing, and it's so much realness to that series of movies that it's almost shocking, right? But they have been studying serial killers and profiling serial killers and trying to get into the mind of serial killers and working alongside of serial killers this whole time, to try to figure it out. And they really do go to other killers and ask them questions, the FBI. Like, who do you, when they're trying to find these really prolific monsters that fly under the radar? Because it's like I said, it's easy to catch, easier when you got bodies that are showing up and they're done a certain way. But when you got nothing, them are the ones that are the Hannibal Lecters. They didn't find Hannibal Lecter's bodies. He ate the people. Okay, you remember Hannibal Lecter? He'd eat them with some lima beans and shit. He would eat you. They didn't find bodies, so he was like a prolific killer. Yeah, still believe are the lyrics from Lost Boys. They ate brains in one of the movies. When he eats the paper in the library, I was like, wow. Yeah, so I mean, that whole series of movies, I can still go back and watch them to this day, and they're still really good movies. The whole series, all the way through, is phenomenal. Like, just absolutely phenomenal. It's almost timeless, right? Like, if you sit here and watch Silence of the Lamb right now, it's probably a better movie than 90% of the movies that are out right now. So, anyway, I don't want to get too off track because I want to get to Summer Wells. Um, and now this one here, I think there's a monster involved in this one. I think there's a little bit of a sexual deviant involved in this one. And I think all serial killers have a little bit of that in them. Okay. A control issue more than anything. But if you take away from all these monsters, there's always this element of the SA aspect of it. Okay. Now, if you look at people like Don Wells, all right, this dude, I believe, is a monster. Now, he may not be the level of monster like Red Dragon, but it's the becoming things. Everything escalates, and that's how crime works, and this is how these monsters work. They don't start off just, you know, killing 4 people. Like, usually it's a slow escalation of things. And if we look back at the history of Mr. Wells, that from a young age he was doing inappropriate things with family members. Okay, I don't want to go too graphic in detail. Most of you that follow this case, y'all know these things, right? His sister, and oh my God, it's so mind blowing because I've had Don up here, and he tried to say that his sister started this, and I had to shut him down. I had to shut him down. I had to. I mean, I even told him, I said, you aren't going to sit up here and blame no kids when you was a teenager and you should have fucking knew better, right? Oh, well, she was doing this. But that don't mean you should have stopped her. A normal person would have stopped her from doing those things. But you're trying to victim blame, right? Which is horrible. That's like, that's almost worse than what you did, or just as bad as what you did. You did this terrible thing, and now you're trying to make it that person's fault. But then, of course, you have cases where he was going into homes and stealing girls' panties. That right there is some serial killer stuff. Okay, that's where you start to get into a weird thing. That's some fucking Ted Bundy type weirdness, right? That leads to stalking and to kidnapping and to other crimes. And you hear out his own mouth, he says he pulls up on this little girl, and the mother thinks he's trying to kidnap the girl. And he's trying to be like, well, I was trying to tell her the kid was playing in the street, and like, you are creepy, dude. You don't need to be around any kids. None. Zero. None. Don't get near the park. Don't. No. No, 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 no. Like, horrible no. And another thing I hate, and I hate this, you back this man into a corner, he goes straight to the Lord. The worst people on this planet do that. Okay? Like, when they can't answer a question, they'd be like, well, God said, he's protecting me, and she's in heaven, and the angels and their trumpets, and shut up. Okay? God would strike you with lightning if he could. All right? If he could, you'd get hit with a bolt of fucking lightning. You terrible human being, right? And he does it every time. Every time he gets boxed in, he starts, the Lord loves me. I go to church on Sunday. But you beat your wife and get drunk on Monday. Okay? Make that shit make sense to me. It don't. It don't. Okay? You smoke crack on Tuesday, you in church on Sunday. No. Okay? No, 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 bro. And the disappearance of Summer Wells, man, it literally broke my heart. It did. I didn't even know I had a heart at that time. I thought I was a cold blooded killer. I guess not. I'm sitting up in the couch tearing up in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, smoking. That shit'll make you emotional anyway. And I'm just watching the story of Summer Wells, and tears are coming to my eyes. And yeah, I'm over there trying to fight back tears, just watching this shit on YouTube. And I just never in a million years could believe it. I just was like, wow. Like, I was just, it's still to this day, it really, really bothers me. I don't know. It's like the little girl didn't stand a chance, and it was just a horrible situation that she was in, and just the things that were alleged, from everything from them pimping and selling her, and allegedly. Well, I'm not going to say that's true. I'm going to say alleged, and these things of all these people coming up on the hill and the people they had around, and just the way everything from, I mean, I heard some terrible stuff, right? Just terrible stuff. And then the facts that it's not rumor, like, the dad was showering with her, and they were sleeping in the bed with her while they were unclothed, and just this horrible, terrible things that no parent should be doing. And what, God, this is bad, man. This is bad. It's bad. You go in their house, and not many people have been up in the house, but Dolly has. I've been in the house. And, I just curious, and I was like, hey, man, can I use the bathroom? I go in the bathroom. The bathroom's little as a closet. Okay, it's little, it's tiny. You go in the shower. You know how you got a bathtub, right? Anybody got a bathtub? You got bathtubs in your house, right? Imagine if you cut that in half. I'm talking about a regular sized bathtub. I ain't talking about no deluxe shit. I'm talking about a regular little bathtub in your house. If you took that regular bathtub and you cut it in half, they have a stand up shower that is a one man shower. I've seen bigger showers in RVs. Okay? Bigger showers in RVs. This man is taking a shower with his daughter in a one man shower. Okay? Now, I don't know if y'all notice how tall Summer Wells is and how tall Don Wells is. But think about that in a shower. I know it's terrible. Even that just shows you how inappropriate this is. Now, most people, even me, as a single father, your daughter takes a bath, you put your daughter in the bath, clean her up, get her a towel, you send her, brush her teeth, go to bed. You don't get in the bathtub with your kid, okay? Now, if you some boys and you at the gym, you may shower in the same, because you got the same body parts. It's But you usually you don't do that with a little girl. You just don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm a father. I never did no shit like that. Not nothing. And thank God I had, my baby mama to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, you just don't do stuff like that. That's like it's strange. And he tries to portray it like it's no big deal. He's like, oh, I have the boys in there with me too. That's shit even weirder because now I know how big your shower is, and y'all are all on top of each other. Like that's getting a little. I can, I feel bad for the boys in the situation that happened with Summer. I don't know what type of abuse these kids have really went through. I know all of them have went through, psychiatrists and stuff like that. And the oldest is almost getting ready to age out, right? Which the bad thing is this is he don't know nothing but the Wells family, and I just feel like he's going to go back to the Wells. I just do. I'm with Josie's going to go back to the hill. He don't have anything. He's too old for somebody to adopt him. He has too many problems for people to want to get in to try to to help, and he's aging out. The other kids are adopted, okay, but Josie ain't, and I just feel like he's going to go back home to a terrible spot. Like that boy, they the thing about the social services is if they made a commercial where they made him out like he was a puppy dog looking for his forever home. It blew my mind. I was thinking, oh my God. I didn't know they did things like that. He's about to be 18. And they were like, he was talking, he got kind of interviewed him. He was like, yeah, I'm looking for my forever parents. And, I like playing video games. And he was just sweet kid. I mean, oh my God. What, like, I'm sure like a family it would be awesome to have, but people don't want a kid that in 1 year or 2 years, he's going to be gone. They can't build that relationship in that amount of time, or you don't know what type of problems are going to come with it because he's going to have some emotional problems for sure. He lost his family. He's only known that life on the hill. He don't know a normal life. His parents were drug addicts and drunks. So, but that's all he knows. That's all he knows. And I guarantee you, as soon as he hits 18 and he can walk away, he's going to walk right back to Ben Hill Road. That's a sad situation. And Summer being gone, she saved her brothers. She gave her brothers a normal life. Because if it hadn't happened, what would they have turned out to be? Now, I ain't saying people don't come from bad families and turn out good. Some people do. They come from the shittiest people and they become really good people. They do. It happens. But the odds of that happening, man, that's slim. That's a diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying? Most people are like, the apple don't fall far from the tree, right? So if they're bad, then all that bad, and he was already smoking with the kids, and the kids were cursing and just acting wild already as young boys. Imagine what kind of men they were going to be with a father like Don Wells. They say when you abuse, you tend to abuse people, right? That's what they say. I ain't come up with it. I ain't that smart. But the abused are usually the ones that will re-abuse. It's a vicious cycle. They say you got to break that chain. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. It's a lot smarter people than me. And I just feel like when you're caught in that loop, that's all you know is the loop. Do the boys know what happened? I think the boys were being boys and playing video games. They probably don't have no clue. They were in their own little world doing boy shit. And whatever happened right with them there, and they didn't get pay no attention to their little sister. They were playing video games on the computer. That whatever happened probably happened right up under their nose, and they have no clue to what happened. Because if they did know what happened, Don and Candace would be in jail right now. So whatever story they told, and not only this, another thing that bothered me was is Don Wells blamed it on the boys. Or if they would have been watching her sister, and then you see the boy drop his head like he was ashamed, like, man, I should have been watching my sister. It's not that kid's responsibility to watch his sister. It was Candace and Don's responsibility to make sure those kids were safe. He was a kid himself. You can't put that responsibility on a little fucking boy. Okay? When your wife was there, his grandmother was there, and allegedly you were there. Okay? You can't put that on that kid. You put that shame and that burden on that child. It's just like Cameron did to Savannah. Oh, mom's gone because of you. That's what Don Wells did to those boys. Summer's gone because of you. But really, Summer's gone because she had terrible parents that I cannot believe are not in prison for child neglect. Like, you can get away with some shit in Tennessee, boy. You would never, never, ever in a million years get away with that where I'm at. Never. They'd be buried under the jail. I mean, they would hit them with so many criminal child neglect charges, felonies. They'd be doing 20, 30 years in prison. Easy. With no Summer. Don't even need her. You're going to fucking prison. You're going to sit there till we find her. That Virginia is a different beast. And I'm so used to Virginia and the laws being so strict and so tough and people not getting away with shit that I think it should be like that everywhere, but it's not. So when I see these things, I'm like amazed. I'm like, it's like going back in time. Like it's so dated. Like it's like fucking Andy Griffin, and the kid deserves better than that. You know, it like her life mattered. It really did, and and she needs people to fight for her because the people that were supposed to fight for her didn't. I even told my daughter. Even Tiff asked me one time, and I've shared this with y'all before. She's like, "Dad, why do you care so much about the little girl?" I was like, "Because nobody else did. That's why I care. Because the people that was supposed to care didn't give a shit. How would you feel if nobody cared about you? Think about that, you know." And I told this to my daughter. I was like, "Look, somebody has to care. You know, like." You didn't have a life like she had. You had a life where everybody loved you, cared about you, took care of you. Imagine living that life where nobody gave a shit about you and the people that are supposed to be fighting for you don't give a damn. Somebody has to somebody has to fight for you. Somebody has to be that voice, right? And I think the people are Summer's voice. That's the voice that she deserves. And that voice didn't go silently into the night like they were hoping. Like, oh, this is whatever they wanted for her to go away for. It didn't work for them. She didn't go away. The ghost of Summer Wells is in their face every day. Them demons are eating them apart from the inside. And that's what they deserve. You know, if you innocent people, you deserve peace. You don't, you know, but if you ain't, you deserve everything that's coming to you. And I would never, ever in a million years attack people that were not bad. I just wouldn't. You know, I love good people, and I hope to wish the best in people. But I know how evil people can be, and I know how terrible this world can be. I don't live in a fantasy world. And this kid was surrounded by bad people. The whole holler, to me, should be in prison. Every last single one of them. Every last to Jody Sue Brown and her slurring. You know, she actually was sober the other day. That was almost amazing. To Fred Hill, to All of them. Lock them all up. Everybody in that damn holler needs to be sitting in a prison cell. That's it. I mean, that would be justice. If I had my way, I'd lock every last single one of them up. I would even, I'd lock them up, throw away the key. Just because that's what they deserve. Virginians in the house, right? You, they deserve no mercy. To me, they the enemy. The enemy deserves no. I grew up Cobra Kai, baby. The enemy deserves no mercy, and these people are horrible. So anyway, what I wanted to tell y'all guys about was, of course, they did another interview. Now I went and sat and talked with Don and Candace. I didn't record it. I just, you know, I don't always record everything. Everything's not about a YouTube video. Everything's not about a click and a view. Sometimes I just like to get information. I think the sleuthing part of it is the most important part, or trying to gauge people who they are, not just from the internet, right? Because you may see something on the internet and perceive it one way, but then when you're there, you may perceive it another way. It, it's weird. Like I've always been a vibe person. I can kind of feel your emotions and things when I'm around you. So it's important for me that I found to get as close to you as I can. I do it with everybody, right? It's the way I judge people. Like I don't want to just judge you from the internet. I want to meet you. I want to talk to you, and I want to feel your energy. And when you put off that terrible energy, I will know. Okay, I will absolutely know. I think my banner just got here. I'm waiting on a banner to come, and I hear the dogs barking. So um, FedEx is supposed to deliver a banner to me today. Um, and I seen it was out for delivery before I started this stream. So I think that's what it is. It's probably on my front porch. Um, so anyway, I went and talked with them, and they assured me that I was wrong, that they didn't do nothing this summer, because I didn't hold no punches back with them. I told them what I thought. I said, I think something happened to her, and y'all covered it up because y'all didn't want to get in trouble. And I believe that their neglectful ways is what led to the death of Summer Wells. And they didn't want to get in trouble because they were drinking and partying and doing drugs, and they chose to do the wrong thing instead of the right thing and report it because they didn't want to go to jail. And of course, they were like, Dolly, you're wrong. We didn't do nothing to her. Somebody's came up on this hill and grabbed her. It's impossible. It's damn near impossible. It just didn't happen. It didn't happen. If it did happen, it's not happening the way they're saying it did. It just didn't. I mean, I've been there. I've been in the house. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. To come up that dog trail, I've been up that dog trail. I did it live on YouTube, right? I didn't know it was even a dog trail. It's pretty fucking steep. And it's so overgrown that nobody would have knew the house was there unless they knew it was there. There is signs of premeditation, Dolly. I don't know. I don't really know. To be honest, I don't. I don't know if they. I've always felt like it was an accident, but could I be wrong about that? I could be. I could be wrong, and it could be some motive to it. Some people say that, they were about to find out that something had happened to Summer, so they wanted to get rid of Summer before she could talk and tell people. I've heard these things. I've taken all that into consideration in this, you know. But either way you look at it, we're all looking at the same people. We don't know exactly what happened. We can theorize, right? But we know who did it in the eyes of public opinion. No proof. There's no proof they did it. I don't have any proof they did it. I ain't an idiot. I don't think it takes a genius to see what's going on. I'm no behavioral expert, but I don't think you need to be, right? Like there's so much inconsistency in it and so much dysfunction in it. And Candace almost cracked. She almost cracked. She was sitting there with somebody while they were saying they did it and didn't say she didn't. Ernie was right there with her, right? Ernie, crazy as he is, Ernie was fucking close. He was so close. And I was pulling for Ernie. Okay, I was pulling for that man. I know he's a super soldier and he can be a little, out there sometimes. But sometimes it takes crazy people to deal with crazy people. Dolly, do you and PJ still buy the dog food? Y'all are wonderful people. I need to buy him some dog food. I haven't bought him no dog food in a little while, but yeah, we would buy him dog food, and there'd be times that I would give Candace some money or something if they were struggling. Um, I ain't a monster, right? I ain't a monster, because I look at things like this. What if I'm wrong? Right? What if I'm wrong and I'm hurting these people worse than they're already hurt? I'm a human being. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want justice. I want answers, like everybody. But at the same time, I don't want to destroy people that don't deserve to be destroyed. Now, I don't know who's at fault. Is it Candace or is it Don? Right? So who do you go after? Or is it both of them? I lean more towards Don Wells as the monster. He's had a history of it. Candace, not so good either. She got a little bit of a have a wonderful safe. Thank you, Princess. I'm just gonna say this about both of them. They're a little bit too friendly with kids for my liking. Both of them. Okay, so you can't sit there and say that about Don and then not say it about Candace. Because from everything I've been seeing and my thoughts and all of this that's come out, she can be just as bad. And not with just one young boy, not just Hunter. You gotta remember, Allie didn't just associate with Candace and Don, but they're friends also. The people that Candace was staying with when she left Don, what Candace was doing, right? Was Hunter the only young boy that Candace was talking to? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? I know more than I've ever said on YouTube, ever. And both of them equally as bad. We got to treat men monsters the same as we treat women monsters. Just because as a young boy don't make it no different than a young girl. To some people it does. Like they don't look at Hunter as a victim. Oh yeah, he was. Absolutely. Absolutely was a victim. Did he go along with it? Yeah, but that don't mean nothing. He's still a victim. And in this world we live in, there's a lot of women monsters out there. I can tell you firsthand because I know I was a young boy one time, and I had women buying me all kinds of shit. Okay, and they all expected something. So I'm talking old enough to be my mama. So there's women out there that are just as bad, if not worse, than some men. Um, and so to me, I weigh them out both like, oh my God, you're both bad. You're both doing things you inappropriate, super inappropriate things that you probably should be in jail for. Ain't problem. Ain't no probably to it. You should be in jail for. Like it, I don't, it's bad, man. Like I said, they were put in a situation, and it a boy is gonna be a boy, but you don't need to be preyed on and groomed. And we see that was taking place with these people, and I don't 100% know what was going on that hill, but I know it was dysfunctional as hell. Okay, what happened to her? I'm not 100% sure what happened to her, but whatever happened from the neglect of these two people. That I'm sure of. Okay, like in my mind, no evidence, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this ain't something good. Are we ever going to find Summer? I don't think so. That's a different look. Much as I want Summer justice for Summer, do I think we're ever going to find her? Mm-mm. I got a feeling that I don't even want to say it. I think that they lit. I think they burn her and got rid of her. I do. Like they've said things. They said Candace said something one night on the phone with us that it's never set right with me. Never, ever, ever set right with me. And I just like when she said it, like every hair on my body stood up. And this was a private call. To think I never was one of them people that recorded Don and Candace. I ain't like that. I just ain't. I don't go do sneaky, dirty shit. I just don't. A lot of people do. They record them and stuff like that. I sent you an email, Dolly. Okay, I don't do that. I truly don't. Like I'm not. I ain't wearing a wire. I'm not an FBI informant or nothing like that. I want to know for myself, right? And even to this day, I think even they know Dolly never did us dirty. He never recorded nothing. He never put nothing out that wasn't true. They may not like what I say, but I've never got up here one time and lied on the Wells family. Never. And I've had many a conversation with them, or at least Candace, a lot. And a lot of that stuff I never ever said anything about on the internet ever. Like does it do anything to bring Summer home? No, it don't. It don't. It just makes it to where in my mind I go, okay, I'm pretty confident I know what's going on. And justice needs to be served. Will we get that? I don't think we ever will. That is the sad part of it. That's the sad part of it. And of course, Don did, you know, interview with some other YouTubers. And tonight, I've already been here a couple hours with y'all, so I was going to go over it today, but I'll go over it later. I will be back tonight for Turtle Island, so it might be later tonight, and we'll break down everything he said. But it's nothing different. We known he was there. He was there at the house. He was never at work. He's had so many inconsistent statements and things that he said. And Hunter said he called from the house. The boys were supposed to have been at work with him, but the boys were at the house. Something happened, right? Something happened, and they know. And I tell you one thing I felt when I was with them, and I wasn't expecting, right? Like honestly, Candace is something else. right? Like I was thinking Candace would be so cold and emotionless and all these things. It's what I was expecting, but I got the exact opposite of that. I did. Believe it or not, Candace is kind of likable. She's kind of like a a big kid, right? Like don't seem super highly educated. Seems like she's trapped in whenever she started drinking age. Jimmy, Ernie wants you to review his video. He is here. Okay. Um, his video he just did. Uh, and you know, I was expecting these people to be like stone cold killers, but like I said, their their online appearance is not what they are. Like Don comes off real aggressive and real mean on the internet, but when you meet Don, he's quiet and he's timid, right? Which I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting this is gonna be some fucking crazy dude. We're probably gonna have some words, but he wasn't like that. He wasn't like that at all, and it was weird. And I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting this. And then Candace was totally different than what I expected Candace Wells to be. Like you see her on the internet, and she's always fucking drunk and right. But I met Candace. Candace was sober. She wasn't emotionless. She had all kinds of emotions. Her emotions were all over the place, which is weird because usually when you get these people that hurt their kids, they're emotionless. You know, listen, I've dealt with enough people in my true crime days of that hurt their babies to know that there's certain signs that these people have. And I didn't get that from Candace. I just didn't. It's like I said, either she's a super manipulator or I mean at a level that's like fucking unreal, right? Like if she's that good, is she really that good, right? And my mind tells me, man, she ain't that good. She's not. But then again, she's drank all the truth serum you could humanly drink, and she still hasn't told it, right? Close, close as hell, I think. You know, like I said, and I still believe that Ernie Shell was the closest ever to cracking this case, right? I was sitting there on the edge of my seat watching Ernie, and I was just like, "Come on, Ernie, you got this, you got this." Then he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball on us, right? But he was playing the fucking game. He got. I don't know what it. I think it was because Candace liked Ernie, right? She had a little thing for Ernie, right? Maybe it's that redneck and Ernie. I don't know, the country boy and Ernie, whatever it is. And she was smitten, and Ernie was so close. He was so close. And I was rooting for him. I was pulling. I was on the edge of my seat, and I thought this shit was going to be done. And here we are, still. Here we are, still. But that don't mean it's over with. That means we got to regroup, come back to the table, figure out what the hell's going on. Because if anybody's going to solve this crime, it ain't going to be the police. It's going to be YouTube. This is one of those jobs that only YouTube is going to be able to figure out. Any other case, I would say, man, don't rely on YouTube. As far as the police go here, you better pray to God as YouTuber solve this, right? Or come get it out, because any other way, you're not going to get it. You just ain't, and I'm sure of that, right? And I don't care who does it. I don't. I honestly don't. It's. I just want it done. Okay. So if you're somebody I've never heard of, or if you're fucking Ernie, or if it's the Hatfields and McCoys, or if it's whoever does it, whoever gets it done, right? But you got to be unique. It ain't one of those. This is different than anything else. I don't think people understand. You're dealing with something people that ain't like most people. And it's going to take something special outside the box to finally break what is going down. Right? And it's been so close. It's been so close multiple times, multiple, even through me, it's been close. It can it happen? I think it can. I haven't given up hope on that yet. Right? Right now, what I tell you one thing Ernie's good at is rattling cages. Okay? He rattles cages. And when you rattle cages, things fall out of those cages. And it's just a matter of picking up the pieces. So that's why I pay so much close attention to it. Because Ernie may see things one way, okay? But I may see it a different way. We just may think of things in a different perspective. But I like what he's doing. Okay? It's a mixture between trolling and sleuthing in a weird kind of way. Like it's not your typical way to get answers or to move pieces on the chessboard. Okay? But the pieces are moving. They're moving. And you got to keep them moving. And you got to keep it going. And he's been good about doing that. So I look at every aspect of things, right? Because like I just seek justice. I don't have to be the guy to figure it out, right? I'll be the guy that celebrates it. If I don't figure it out, I I, I want this closure more than I want closure for any case in true crime, right? I don't think we're ever going to find Summer Wells. I don't even think we'll even get close to that. That ain't what I want. I want the confession of what happened to Summer Wells. They're never going to give us where the body's at. That's never going to happen. I don't care who you are, you ain't getting that. But just to get them to say it, even if they retract what they say, which they will, they retract a lot of what they try to. But once it's there, it's there. Because guilty people, I can't say that. Sometimes guilty people confess to crimes they didn't. Innocent people confess to crimes they didn't commit. But if you will say it, most likely you did it. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just a matter of, because there's some people out here that are still looking for other avenues. And then you're wasting time. You're spinning your wheels. Right? It's like certain people know where the focus should be. Right? And I think a good majority of people do. And yeah, I don't know what I don't know what video Ernie made, but give me a second. Um, what the hell is Ernie's channel? I forgot the name. Hold on, let me pull Ernie's message up. He sent me the video. Ernest Shale right here. Let's see. What's the last video you sent me? All right, this will take me to your page at least. Okay, I don't think that was your last video, but let me see what's your last live, right? Okay, the getaway vehicle. Who took Summer Wells? We found him. Okay, 8 hours ago. All right, let me pull this over here. All right, the Lightning Tiger. All right, guys, we're going to watch a little bit of the Lightning Tiger. Give me a second. I had other plans for this morning, but sometimes plans are made to be broken. All right. Is there a reason for that? Okay. All right. Let's skip that. All right. Here we go.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
What a night. What a night has been. Lightning bolts in the chat. Lightning bolts in the chat.
Lightning bolts. Okay. For the lightning tiger.
Thank
I
you.
like that.
Appreciate you
See what this
guys.
thing says? We're not just creators. We are warriors.
I'm telling you, I'm tired. Way tired. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing good. I am exhausted. But you know what?
Let's get to the
We've
good
got to
stuff.
continue doing what we've got to do.
Get her done.
Hello, West Virginia Rainbow. How are you?
All right, we got lightning bolts in the chat. Come on, get to the point, Ernie. Come on, let's do it.
So,
We got shit
if
to
we go
do.
back to the interview,
Which I'm going to show.
if we
it
go
now.
back to the interview that we had with Fred.
Oh, with Fred. Oh God. See, I think Ernie is on like he unlocked your reality. I don't trust Fred. I just don't. I think that's where we see things differently. Man, I say lock Fred's ass up is what I say. You know, I would just let the tiger bite him in the face. Something I don't know, man. I just that dude right there and his family, they might as well. They just as responsible. They were letting that. He was bringing in all the bad people into the holler. If it just, I don't know. He does not sit well with me. And with Ziggy, Ziggy get butthurt every time I say something about Fred. But you listen, when you a sleuth, you don't go hook up with the person you fucking supposed to be getting answers from. She done went and married the man. Now she's team Fred Hill. I don't like that. It don't sit well with me. And as a YouTuber, you lose. Well, I guess if you're just a YouTuber, but if you consider yourself a sleuth or a true crime person, and then you done buddied up with the damn suspect, that of course you're going to have opinion that they didn't have nothing to do with it. That's why I don't be friends with people. Like, I ain't trying to be your friend. You a suspect.
I wish I was going to bed. But I was going to put this out here and then I'm going to go to bed. Because something was really strange.
Something strange in the neighborhood.
About Crystal.
Like that tiger.
And some of the posts that she had been putting up. Now, we know that Crystal's kind of kooky.
They all a little kooky.
She's kind of...
this is the internet. Everybody fucking crazy.
Trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice about this. She don't really have much common sense. Let's just say that.
This dumb as a damn brick. LD.
What's weird about it is, if we go by what Fred said,
don't listen to Fred.
And this summer was passed around a few different vehicles. Well, we found those vehicles.
Well, let me ask you this, Ernie. How's Fred know but didn't do nothing about it? He's just as bad. He's just as terrible.
Oh, yeah.
That was their buddy. They were all friends. They were all lovey-dovey-dovey until Summer went missing. What destroyed these friendships? That's the question you got to ask there, Ern. You got to ask yourself, what destroyed their friendship? What made them all go at each other when they were all BFFs at one point? Something destroyed the relationships. And I don't trust any of them. If he knew all these things and didn't do nothing about it, he's just as responsible. So I got no love for Fred Hill or anybody in that holler. This Yeah, pull the switch. That's what I say. Throw them in jail. Never let them out. But that's just my opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. I just what I think.
We found those vehicles. And the owners of the vehicles. Now we're still looking into this, but it's just awful peculiar that Marlena Crawford. Let's just go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out here tonight. I didn't get to do much on setting this
Dolly
live
had a
up. We
nightmare
kind
about
of
Don
kind
Will
of
last night.
You had a nightmare about Don Wells last night? Yeah, I was washing laundry. I did about 8-9 loads of clothes. I was Molly maiden last night. I cleaned the living room, cleaned the studio. I washed all the clothes. I was on a roll.
put the title up, and we went from it. But before I do, last night we was having the interview with Fred.
Fred won't talk to me. I invited Fred and Ziggy up here. They said F Dolly. They don't want the smoke. They don't want it, right? They scared of the tough questions, right? That I don't know shit. They know. What do you think the FBI? What led them to this thing? And all of a sudden, after that, they want to call in tips. Oh, I know this and I know that. Well, if you knew something, you should have been told it. It shouldn't wait 5 fucking years to tell what you know. If you're a good person, you would tell it instantly. So, like, oh well, we just. It's like when they got that tip that led them to the Hills family home. It was like, oh, now we got to throw in some other tip, and it's to muddy the water. If you muddy the water so dark, you can't see what's going on. You throw confusion at them, and they won't be able to see the bottom. That's what they want. They want to muddy the water, and they've done a good job of muddying the water. And when we get into cases like where there's people are signing agreements not to tell what happened on the hill, and things like this. Even when I was like, listen, you can't believe what Benny Keys is saying because he's friends with him. You can't believe Cam and Allie because they're in with them too, right? You can't. All these people were in with them, and I remember telling people that can you, especially Cam. I was like, yo, these dudes are, and this woman, they're on drugs and they're not good people. And everybody was like, Dolly, how dare you say that shit? Right? That's just terrible to say. And I'm good at reading people. I just am. And now look at them. Did you see the motherfucker with dreads? Did you see this shit? Have you seen these? They are tore up from the floor up. Right? Like it's like, and these are the people like, they put out so much misinformation in the Summer Wells case. And they did this to purposely muddy the waters. Right? Like when you come into this as a sleuth, you want to be able to look in it and see what's going on. Right? That's what I want to do. I want to look from the outside, see what's going on. When you got 500 people putting out misinformation and muddying the water, you can't see the bottom of that water. You can't see the pebbles at the bottom. You can't even see this shit. It's like a mud puddle. You don't see nothing. You have to go through 15 layers of confusion to get to anything that's remotely true. And they had like a whole offensive line of people doing this. And I was calling it out from the very beginning. But then again, Dolly's just a fucking hater. He talks bad about YouTubers. Yeah, that are doing terrible things. If you're doing something fucked up, I'm going to say it, right? Like, hey, that's terrible. And I seen it, and I called it, and next thing you know, they're over there setting themselves on fire and shit. It's but nobody wanted to listen to me it till they're like, oh yeah, but Dolly, you was right. You know what I'm saying? And I be telling y'all, and it ain't because I'm a mean or hateful person. It's because I ain't stupid. It just is what it is.
And it was a very eye-opening interview. And then all of a sudden, Crystal comes up and she's talking about Marlena. The reason I let her up is because she was in chat. They was running. They was like, Marlena's in her chat. Crystal wants to come up, or because I thought Marlena was going to come up with her, and I was finally going to get to answer the questions. So, St. Elmo Fire, the thing about it is you have to look into everything.
Amen.
You have to.
Ernie.
Especially when things start adding up. So Crystal came up and, she said what she had to say, and she was talking about, I don't even know, she's pretty much clouting her channel. She was clouting her channel, and we pretty much had enough of it because nothing that she was saying even made any sense. So I dropped her, and she goes on her panel, on her show, and she has Marlena come up, and Marlena's talking about how I'm hunting her, how I'm physically hunting her, and all that. So she says a few things to me, and I started thinking. She says some very derogatory things, Crystal does, about me, and it's okay. But Marlena says, I will have my family members that are the detectives in the case. And they are. They're the detectives. They are the detectives in the Summer Wells case. And then Crystal was like, well, you need to get a restraining order on him. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to put him in jail, and I'll tell you how to do, all this. So I thought about it. I thought about how Crystal was gatekeeping Marlena. So today, we had a guy who contacted.
See, I call that running interference, is what I call that. He calls it gatekeeping. It's the same thing. Basically, it's been this way from the beginning. From the beginning of this, they had people doing this. And it's like you gotta get through their blockers like a football game to get even close to the people. And you have so many people that are simping for terrible people that it almost blows my mind. Like, this is about finding Summer, getting justice for Summer, and you got so many people that are defending horrible people that have committed horrible actions, and you wouldn't think that many people would take up for bad people, but they do, right? Like, I never understood it in the very beginning. Like, I was just like, what is going on? Why are these people willing to put their name and stamp on these people when there's straight proof that these are not good people? Now, I ain't gonna say there's straight proof they did something to Summer, but there's straight proof that they're not good people. But people were willing to go to bat for them. And then it made me think, well, these people got to be the same as them, right? They got to be the same. They got to be either drunks or they got to be druggies. There has to be something in it for them. What do they gain from this, right? And you could easily say, well, people will try to befriend the families so they can get them on the channel. And then if they're on the channel, it brings more views to the channel. More views bring more money. and the motive is money, right? Right? That's what you know, because you gotta ask yourself, why would I jump in front of a bullet? Okay, because this is what some of these creators did. They jumped in front of a bullet, and or why would it stand in front of a pile of turds? You know what I'm saying? Because it smells like crap. Why am I going to step in that? You know what I'm saying? Because there's something in it for them, right? And I was able to smell that out quickly, right? Quickly in it, and that's when I was, I started to speak out on these people, and we look at it 5 years later. You got to go, well, Dolly, you were fucking right. I hate to be like I told you so, but I told you so. And they're constantly, I don't know what they it's like these, you would think that they from Tennessee, they talk slow, they act slow, but they ain't slow. They're more calculated and smarter than you think they are. That I think if you think of them as stupid, any of these people, that's where you make your first mistake, right? Because you're thinking, well, that's not smart. They're not smart enough to do, to play this kind of game, but they are. They are. They're fucking backwoods chess players. It's crazy because your first impression is these are dumbass backwood hillbilly ass people, and that's what they want you to think. That's exactly what they want you to think.
Contacted us while I was talking to another person. Another person had contacted me, and they were pretty much telling me the same thing that I was asking this other person. And these people live in the area and they know everybody. So we looked into this. And what's crazy is this is getting ready to blow your all's mind. This is going to be, now again, we're going to be making sure we check everything into this. But what we found out was really, I'm going to say unearthing. Because Fred had mentioned 3 vehicles being involved with Summer Wells'
I
disappearance.
bet he did.
Andy's blue truck, a white HHR. So, and then there's a Ford, and then there's a pickup truck. It's supposed to be red pickup truck. So, even though the red pickup truck that we found is not exactly the color that it used to be, they painted it with a brush. Now, the white HHR is allegedly owned by Daniel Hayes. Daniel Hayes has a white HHR, and he's from the area. He's also Marlena Crawford's baby's daddy. I was blown away. Daniel Hayes is Marlena Crawford's baby's daddy.
Didn't her brother get caught up in that sting that was in Tennessee?
That was one thing we found. Now, whether or not, I mean, to have a white HHR, think about that. Daniel Hayes has a white HHR. But what's weird about it, he's also the half brother of Chad Arnold. Now, we're
Ernie
doing
had some dramatic pauses.
we're doing some investigations on this. We're running some family stuff right now, some genealogy stuff. We have a person who was in genealogy for about 23 years, and they can find anybody. Now, Daniel Hayes has a white HHR. That's Marlena Crawford's baby's daddy.
Okay, JLR.
What's weird?
Get the fucking point, Ernie. You done said, I'm waiting for you to just go like this. Like, good Lord, Mr. Repeat Yourself.
About it is he's also the half brother of Chad Arnold. They took and painted half of it blue. They painted the bottom half blue. Of the vehicle. And what's weird about it is you can tell they done it with a hand brush.
He was exhausted.
It wasn't professional.
All right.
Now, if that ain't something, we got to looking in further. Now, Ricky Crawford Jr., he painted his maroon Ford pickup truck yellow with a hand brush. And the year of model of Ricky Jr.'s truck does look a lot like a Toyota Tundra.
Which would have been the red truck.
If we look at a Toyota Tundra and a red and a Ford pickup truck,
yeah, I'm about to speed it up.
It's weird. It's weird. Why would you paint it a total obsolete, just a different color than what it is? I mean, it's a maroonish red looking color, and then he painted it yellow, and they said it looked like a hand brush. So, again,
speed him up to 7.
Think about it. You got Toyota, you know. Now, this is just some things that we're looking into right now. And again, it don't matter us putting this out, put this out there. I mean, we can find all that. We can find all that. We can find everything we say we can prove. It's just weird to me that all these people, and then last night for Marlena just to magically make an appearance with what's going on. You see people, whether people like it or not, we are rattling those cages.
There you are. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you got to do.
The only way that we're going to get anything done.
When people talk, they slip up and say shit. And once everybody's listening. So once you say something, once it comes out your mouth, there ain't no putting it back in there. Right? We have that. You know, it goes to the saying, what you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So the more people talk, the more they're going to slip up and say things. So the objective is to get people talking. And Ernie has done a good job at that, right? Riling them up, getting them pissed off, because that's when people start to make mistakes.
It's through law enforcement. Law enforcement has that camera up on the second tree going to the graveyard. You can see the whole graveyard from that camera. Yes. So, since Crystal's her friend now, maybe she can ask, and Crystal's gatekeeping Marlena, maybe she can ask Marlena those questions. I mean, yeah, the timeline, everything, whether we like it or not, I mean, things are starting to add up. I just never knew that it would everybody's kin to everybody.
Yeah, that is true. They
are cameras now.
A small area.
We spotted one camera that it's a high-tech camera that goes on the tree. It's on the second tree, and it's up so high. It's up high enough to where it covers the whole graveyard. You can see whoever comes up there and everything.
I put that camera there.
But I figured everybody
I'm
needs to
kidding.
understand what we're working on now, looking and seeing what time those vehicles were purchased, what date, how long those vehicles have been. We know of one automatically. We know of one that's at the graveyard. I ain't talking about the other cameras. There's a lot of cameras. I'm just talking about the ones that's actually on the graveyard property that we've seen. And again, we wouldn't really pay too much.
I know what vehicle was used there, Ernie. We're gonna cut that because I haven't got much longer. I would say that red Suzuki, that damn was it Suzuki that Candace was driving, the SUV. That's the vehicle that took Summer up out of there. Now, was she handed off? You know, the whole thing about Candace leaving the hill twice, right? And then going up to Fred's after it was all said and done. Is it something where Candace took her to Don and Don took her to Fred Hill's family because they needed a place? Fred Hill knows he's trying to avoid because he's in cahoots with Don and Candace. They're all friends and now they act like they're enemies, but if one tells, they all go down. That's what I would think. That they're all in cahoots. And if anybody talks, it really takes them all down because they all had a play in it. You know, everybody knew something was going on. You know, like, you know, all of a sudden they have all this information. They had all this information from day one. Why would it be that 5 years later, information's slowly trickling out? They should have told this from the very beginning. If you had nothing to do with it, if you just an innocent bystander and a concerned citizen, you're gonna tell all this from the very jump. You're not gonna wait 5 years to tell things and to leak things and be so. You know, I think most of these people are putting out information to guide you away from it, not to guide you towards it. I don't trust any of them, but like I said, it's going to take everybody to figure it out, you know, and you got to get them talking. Keep rattling the cages because little bit of slippage here, a little bit of slippage there. That's all it's really going to take. Like we knew Don wasn't at work. We know that. Everybody knows that now, right? You know, we know Hunter. He lies about everything. Hunter's a lying ass little kid. But he didn't lie about everything. And some of the best liars are people that mix the truth with the lies, so you can't tell what's a lie and what's truth. Right? You'll go, well, he told the truth here. Is he lying? He must be telling the truth here. And really, he's told the truth one time, but he's lying 30 other times. So you really go, it's hard to tell what's real and fake because good liars mix lies with the truth. And believe it or not, the kid is pretty savvy when it comes to that. Okay. But he was rubbing his hands all through that mullet. There ain't no doubt in my mind. And Don was there. And even when, of course, the Hatfields, they interviewed him and you see he had inconsistent statements about where he was at there. You know, the problem is where it gets confusion and it starts to go different routes is because these people are connected, right? You said it yourself, Ernie. You said, man, it's hard to believe it. Everybody's fucking family. They are. They're all connected. It's a spider web there. The hills go back so far in Kingsport. It is nuts. When I started tracking down the hills to see how far they went back in that area, holy shit, they're all hills. Right? Everybody in Kingsport is somehow connected to the hills. Even to Allie's friend was a hill. Okay? So you got Allie covering for Candace, right? Complete liar. Isn't he? Listen, I don't want to speak bad on the dead. Allie, liar. Hunter, liar. Candace, liar. These people, when Chris McDonough was there and Allie was on the phone, you know who she was on the phone with? Candace.
Hey, finally caught alive. I usually get the replays. Hey everybody.
Well, thank you. Hey, thank you for jumping on the Blessed Express with us. You ain't blessed unless you on the Dolly Express. All right, Lightning Tiger's driving today though, so this train might fall off the tracks. But definitely a good job of getting these people talking. But they're all connected. They're all connected. Well, I learned that a long time ago. I was like, God, man, they just like every kid, every person you can think of somehow is connected somehow in that little place. Like, in most small places, small towns, everybody knows everybody or they're all kin to each other. But the Hills themselves is a big family. There's a lot of them. And from the nieces and nephews and cousins and uncles and brother-in-laws and second cousins and shit. It's like it's it's crazy how they're all connected. And think about this: in that holler, there was only a few people. You're 1 hour and a half from Kingsport. There was only a few people living in a holler, and a holler's not different than a trailer park. Okay, a little more spaced out, but everybody knows everybody's business. They're all up in each other's business. They're all the only person out there that probably didn't mess with none of these people was the people at the junkyard, right? And but far as Fred Hill, uh, like and like Jody Sue Brown and everybody seemed so concerned and they knew so much about drugging the kids and all these things. If you was allowing that shit to happen, you deserve to be in prison, just like they do. That's what I'm saying. Like, if this was really, if these things were taking place and you knew these things were taking place and nobody did nothing about it, then I say lock them all up. Every last single one of them knew that there was abuse going on and did nothing to help Summer. Nothing. That's why they don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Because they did nothing. I'll let them know. Be like, look, you just as scummy. If you didn't do it, you just as bad as they are that did it. That's how I feel about it. But I'll go over some more of this later tonight. I got to nap out for a little while, and I got to put the clothes in the dryer. I've been doing housewife shit today. It ain't all horseshoes and rainbows. Oh, I got shit to do. But look, all we can do right now is keep working it, keep going, keep going, keep going. Somebody's gonna break, you know. And the more people get talking, the more people get mad at each other, and the more people start telling on that person. And listen, when you pulling bones out of a closet, you got to get every bone. Okay, you can't just get some bones. You got to get all them bones. All right, all them bones got to come out in the closet, and we got to sort through them. That's the important thing. Right now, bones are falling out, but there's a pile of bones, big ass pile of bones in that closet, and we need to get all them bones up out of there, and then figure out what the hell is going on. I think we know. It's just we got to be able to lock it in. We got to be able to lock it in, and keep doing your thing. Keep doing the thing, man. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I'll be back later this evening. Of course, Turtle Island will be tonight at 10 o'clock. Dolly Uncensored. It's usually on Monday nights, but I will be in the hospital tomorrow. Test. I gotta do some tests. Um, don't worry about me. I'm all right so far. But I'll be in the hospital tomorrow night doing tests, so I won't be able to be live with you guys. So there's definitely no live tomorrow night because I'll be hooked to machines and shit. Unless it's from my phone with damn 100 wires hooked to me. But I will be back tonight to do Turtle Island, and I will cover the Summer Wells stuff, and we'll pull up the interviews. We might even bring old Ernie on later tonight if we can. All right, you guys be good. Stay safe. Just remember, if nobody does, Dolly loves you guys. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.